Hello, everyone. My name is Annette Isaacs, and I am a German historian and public educator. And I am very glad to be back at your Ollie with a 3-week class that is called From Division to Unity 35 years of German unification. So, this year, of course, marks the 35th anniversary of the German unification. And we're going to have a very interesting time together. We're going to start on Monday, February 17th, and it's going to be a morning class starting at 9:30 a.m. And the first session is going to talk about, it's going to deal with how Germany was kind of recovering, from the Second World War up until the rise of the Berlin Wall. And then the second session will be quite fascinating because we're going to talk about life in East Germany, how the East Germans were living a life in that socialist country. And then the third session is going to deal with our path to unification and how the last 35 years have been. So I'm hoping that you all are going to join me, on the 17th of February at 9:30, 3 Mondays from division to unity, 35 years of German unification.
With Connections Yoga, and I'm going to be offering again a fall prevention strategies yoga class for you. It starts on February the 17th, and it's a 6 weeks class that runs on Mondays from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock p.m. We're going to be using a chair and seated and standing poses to work on minimizing fall risk and also improving our strength and our balance. Each week is going to have a specific focus, and we're working with fall prevention strategies. So I work with full distance physical therapy and wellness with their PT, physical therapist, and occupational therapist team. And so we've been incorporating physical therapy strategies and exercises with our yoga poses and our yoga classes. So here's what we're going to look at over the next 6 weeks. We'll be starting with ankle strategy, how to strengthen our legs and our ankles so that it catches us to prevent us from falling. We'll then proceed to look at hip strategy, how our hips move to catch ourselves if we happen to topple. We'll then work at suspension strategy, which is how we lower the center of gravity to prevent us from getting too high and losing that balance, being able to catch ourselves. After that, we're working on my favorite, which is step-in strategy. How do we lift up our feet to be able to prevent falls? And a lot of times as we get older, we find that we tend to shuffle our feet. So how do we improve our gait? How do we improve our flexibility, our balance, our coordination? How do we give ourselves greater confidence and minimize fears of fall? So this is a great class if you are interested in minimizing fall risk, improving your balance, and connecting. So thank you so much. I look forward to joining you for our Fall Prevention Strategies yoga class.
Hi, everybody. My name is Nick Santamaria, and I've been teaching about old show business for about 7 or 8 years now for Ollie. And I really enjoy having you because we laugh together, and we're going to laugh a lot in this new class. What is this? This is a derby. What does a derby imply? Laurel and Hardy. Here's another nice class you've got me into. Well, I didn't know. Anyway, Laurel and Hardy were probably the most beloved comedy team of all time. And two people couldn't be more disparate. One was an English gentleman, the other one was a Southern gentleman from Georgia. They got together and they fit together like a glove. So, starting Monday, February 17th at 9:30 in the morning, we're going to be looking at Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy. The class is called Stan and Ollie, The Art of Laurel and Hardy. We're going to be looking at their lives, their work methods, the people they worked with, the studio they worked for, their downfall, and their eventual tours in the British Isles, where they were considered still important. So join me. We're going to have a great time. We're going to watch some films, probably some of the funniest films you've ever seen. So see you then.
Hi, I'm Bran Fortner, faculty in physics in North Carolina State University. My course is Becoming Spacefarers, Settling the Solar System. First lecture is Tuesday, February 18th at 9:30 a.m. I'd like to start with a quote from the famous Russian scientist Konstantin Tsiolkovsky. The Earth is the cradle of humanity, but mankind cannot stay in the cradle forever. Next is a quote from Elon Musk. In order for us to have a future that's exciting and inspiring, it has to be one where we're a space-faring civilization. The last quote from Carl Sagan, all civilizations become either spacefaring or extinct. So there's 6 lectures in this course. The first lecture is why should we become a spacefarer? We'll talk about economic reasons, existential threats to our existence, and our manifest destiny. Lecture 2 is on how we do it. And we'll talk about spaceflight, the rocket equation, rocket engines, and the challenges of spaceflight. Lecture 3 is where do we go in the solar system? We'll talk about the resources in the solar system and possible destinations in the solar system. Lecture 4 is on settlements in the solar system. We'll talk about outpost settlements and the challenges of those settlements. Lecture 5 is on terraforming. Can we create an Earth-like habitation someplace in our solar system? The final lecture is on final thoughts, where we talk about a roadmap to become spacefarers and what it takes to become a cosmic society. I believe there's meaning and purpose in the universe, and the sacred mission of our species to investigate and understand the universe. But to accomplish this, we need to survive. And to survive, we must be an interplanetary civilization. Come join us for the discussion. Thank you.
Oh, hello. I didn't see you come in. Mr. Ed and I were just enjoying some oats and coffee, and I wanted to tell you about this course. My name is Greg Ehrbar. I'm an author and a historian, and we're going to talk about the 1960s. Now, when you say 1960s, usually you think of it being one of the most tumultuous, divisive, inflammatory, devastating periods in world history. You know, there was war, there were social issues, political intrigues. There really had never been so much conflict and confrontation, arguably anyway. But because we needed it, there was another cultural movement that also reached a pivotal height in the 60s, escapism and entertainment. No decade produced so many wild, wonderful shows and films. And we're going to look back at some of the most outlandish, the most outrageous, the most magical TV shows and films of the decade. Far out, fantastic, and fun, even to this day. And we'll start with some of the earlier escapism from earlier centuries and the early part of the 20th century, and how they linked to classics like Bewitched, Mary Poppins, I Dream of Jeannie, Gilligan's Island, Batman, Lost in Space, movies like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Dr. Dolittle, Beach Blanket Bingo, The Love Bug, and many, many more. Now, these were often silly, but they were not stupid. There's a big difference. We'll talk about that. They were made by top professionals in their fields. We'll look at how that trend eventually subsided and was never quite the same again, but yet how it has endured in subsequent years. So please be with us for From Talking Horses to Flying Nuns, The Great 60s Escapism, Tuesdays, starting February 18th at 9:30 Eastern Time. And until then, bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Aaron Leonard. I'm an author and historian. One of my books is called The Folk Singers in the Bureau, and I'm going to do a 6-session Zoom class starting February 18th through April 1st from 12:30 to 2 p.m., which is based on this book, but going a little bit further, The Folk Singers, the Bureau, and the Second Red Scare. In a nutshell, this is about how some of the most prominent folk singers of the 20th century, including people like Woody Guthrie, Sis Cunningham, Pete Seeger, Lee Hayes, Hootie Ledbetter, Burl Ives, were also political activists with various associations with the American Communist Party. As a consequence, the FBI, along with other governmental and right-wing organizations, were monitoring them, keeping meticulous files running many thousands of pages, and making and carrying out plans to purge them from the cultural realm. I know this through my own Freedom of Information filing, where I obtained records from most of the people I just named. So just by way of a few things that we're going to reveal is how Woody Guthrie's FBI files stayed open into the 1960s, even as he lost his ability to walk and speak due to the neurological disease Huntington's chorea. I'm going to tell how this double agent, Boris Morris, informed on Burl Ives. Burl Ives, famous for being Sam the Snowman and Big Daddy and Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. Morris informed on Burl Ives to the FBI. How the FBI cornered folk singer Pete Seeger near his home in the Hudson Valley. Pete had just dropped his son off at school, and the FBI agents wanted to see if he was willing to become an informant, which he was not. And also how what Eleanor Roosevelt said about the security men who kept surreptitiously frisking musicologist, Library of Congress special assistant, and concealed communist Alan Lomax by harshly bumping into him. This when he performed at the White House for the King and the Queen of England in 1939. That and a lot much else I'm going to get into, as well as some wonderful music. So I really do hope to see you then in February 18th. And I look forward to seeing you then, as I say. Thank you. Bye.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jamie Zimchek, and this term I'll be teaching A Story of Self, The Magic of the Memoir, on Wednesdays from 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern, starting on February 19th. This is a Zoom class, and we run for 6 sessions through April 2, with a break the week of March 12th to leave time for writing. Ira Glass once said, "Great stories happen to those who can tell them." This limited enrollment course is designed to help make those great stories happen, but also provide a better understanding of what a memoir is, why as a genre it's so powerful, and how to go about writing your own. In addition to exploring the basics of this genre, I'll walk you through the writing process, from planning to creation and revision. As the course progresses, you'll gain the most if you complete several recommended writing exercises and an outline to get you started, then spend your 3-week break doing a little bit of writing, though how much you complete is up to you. Again, there is no set word minimum or maximum for this course. With this in mind, you're going to set your own individual goals based on your final objectives. And I've been told that I can really keep people on task. Over 6 sessions, we'll review the essentials of good writing, explore different genres, refresh any writing skills that need refreshing, and work to help you find your own writer's voice. Each class will include a lecture and then a class exercise with a short assignment for you to do at home that then I will provide feedback for, and you don't have to do it, but it's recommended to get the most out of this class. So again, we'll be meeting at 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern, that's 4 to 5 p.m. Central on Zoom on Wednesdays. And the dates are February 19th, 26th, March 5th, skipping March 12th, then March 19th, the 26th, and finishing on April 2. I hope you'll join us. We have a lot of fun.
Hi, my name is Emmanuel Abramovitz, and I will be teaching a class called The Search for an American Sound. That will be in 6 sessions, and it's about a fantastic story. When I have been teaching and preparing my classes about classical music, about rock, history, jazz, blues, music for films and Broadway musicals, I have taught for this institution all these classes. And when I was preparing those classes, I realized that there was a common element in many of the composers and songwriters, especially in the 20th century. They were on purpose, sometimes or not, sounding American. Yeah, the songwriters and composers of this country in the 1930s, in the late 20s and 1930s, started developing a sound that can be recognized as American. It evokes the landscapes, like, for example, in the case of Aaron Copland, but it also they also evoked the urban cities, like Leonard Bernstein, or like before that George Gershwin. So there was an American sound developing in the middle part of the 20th century that is fantastic, that I found like a common element in all those, when I was preparing those classes of such different disciplines or musical styles. So I gathered all that information, all that, all of my thoughts and about that music, and prepared one class. Then it evolved, and people started letting me know that there was this other musician or not, and I kept researching about other composers, and I went to 2 classes, to 2 sessions, then to 3, then to 4, and now for the first time I will be teaching this class in 6 sessions. It's called The Search for an American Sound. I will start teaching that on February 17th. That's a Monday at noon at 12:30. And well, I invite you to join me for that fantastic adventure. As usual, it will be full of musical examples, videos, graphics, so you will enjoy it very much. So join us and see you soon online for The Search for an American Sound.
Hi, my name is Asa Perelzweig, and I'm a linguist, and I would like to invite you to my new linguistics class called Language Myths Debunked. You've probably heard statements like, Eskimos have many words for snow, or a language is a dialect with an army and a navy, or Aborigines always speak primitive languages. These kinds of popular beliefs are all over social media and popular press. But are they actually true? In this class, we'll examine these and other similar popular beliefs about language, and we'll learn which aspects of them are true and which aspects are not true and maybe even nonsensical. In the process, we'll learn a lot about how languages change, why there are many different languages around the world, in what ways they differ from one another, in what ways human languages all differ from animal communication of non-human animals. We'll learn about how children acquire their mother tongue and how adults learn non-native languages later in life. So we'll learn a lot about different aspects of linguistics by looking at popular beliefs, language myths. Check out your calendars, and I hope to see you in class.
Hi, my name is Bambi Moe, and I'm thrilled to be teaching the course entitled The Invention of Broadcast Television. My background is as an author of a new book called Part of the Magic, a collection of Disney-inspired brushes with greatness, which in part chronicles my 20-year career as Vice President of Music at Walt Disney Television Animation. And in case you were wondering, yes, Bambi is my given name. Currently, I'm a producer of a PBS children's program called Hello, Hi, How Are You? For many years, I worked alongside a television producer and artist named Phil Savenick, who devoted his life to the preservation and legacy of the man who invented broadcast television, and I owe my career to them. If someone asked you, who invented broadcast television, would you know the answer? As important as Alexander Graham Bell's telephone or Thomas Edison's light bulb, the most famous man that few have ever heard of is Philo Taylor Farnsworth. This course will explore the journey of a 14-year-old boy from Rigby, Idaho, who conceives the world-changing idea of television while plowing the family farm. The shared legacy of this remarkable man and his wife and partner, the equally remarkable Elma Pem Garner, will be the highlight of our study. Theirs is the most compelling scientific love story that is truly out of this world. So please join me via Zoom on 3 Mondays in March, starting March 17th, 24th, 31st at 2:30 to 4 Eastern Time, as we journey into the remarkable story of the invention of broadcast television.
Hi, my name is Michael Lyons, and I was fortunate enough to work at Walt Disney World for 20 years. I look forward to sharing my experiences with you in my new course for the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute at Florida State University, which is entitled Disney's Magical Guest Experience. With so many vacation destinations out there, so many return time and time again to Walt Disney World, but how does Disney build such devotion? Disney's Magical Guest Experience, which will be offered on Tuesdays, February 17th, 24th, and March 3rd from 2:30 to 4 o'clock, will take a closer look. We'll look at Disney's in-depth training program and how they build a certain culture among their employees or cast members, how leadership at Disney is all about inspiration and motivation, how Disney creates the world-renowned guest service that they're known for, how their experiences with guests help drive their business results. We'll also look at what this experience means and the positive impact it has on guests, and how these experiences that Disney creates are something you can create in your organization and in your everyday lives. While working at Walt Disney World, I was able to work at all 4 of their theme parks and was able to be a part of a tremendous amount of initiatives and experiences. I look forward to sharing my stories and much more in Disney's Magical Guest Experience, a course that will resonate with anyone who's visited a Disney theme park and anyone looking for a little bit of that Disney magic in their everyday life. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Owen Devlin and I'm a historian based at the University of Cambridge in England. This semester at Ollie, I'll be teaching a course about Winston Churchill, which is subtitled From Victorian Britain to the End of Empire. That title gives you some sense of the breadth of the history that we're going to be discussing in the 6 weeks which this course runs for. Churchill, of course, is most famous as the Prime Minister of Britain during the Second World War. He was the man who led the country to victory against Germany in that great conflict, and who in the 1950s went on to be very important in developing and constructing the framework of the Cold War in some of his speeches and in his political policies during his second tenure as Prime Minister in that decade. But Churchill's life was very long. He was born in the heyday of the British Empire at the end of the 19th century. He died in the mid-1960s. So the Second World War and the Cold War are only a brief element of a very long, successful, and for much of the time, unsuccessful public career. Churchill was a politician, both a liberal politician and a conservative. He was a journalist, a soldier, a painter, a writer, somebody who wanted to be famous and cultivated fame, somebody whose views were controversial and yet who did have an ability to tap into mainstream national and international sentiments at key moments in the 19th and 20th century world history. So this course is going to explore some of those elements of Churchill's long career, think about his complex personality, and examine some of the tensions and contradictions within all of that. So the course takes place every Tuesday from 2:30 to 4 p.m. EST. And because I'm coming to you from Cambridge in England, I will be hosting the course on Zoom.
Hi, my name's John Grogan, and I'm here to talk about my course, 5 Obscure Presidents and Why They Matter. I hope you'll consider taking it. A little of my background. I have a PhD in American history from Loyola University in Chicago, and I'm a retired Marine Corps officer. I've taught for OSHA programs at Pitt, Carnegie Mellon, UMass Boston, Tufts, my alma mater, Cal State San Marcos, Arizona State, Eckerd College in Florida, and Dartmouth. I've also taught my Obscure Presidents course for several programs, and it's been well received. Why did I find this subject interesting? I think it's because Americans don't know or appreciate the accomplishments of lesser-known chief executives. For example, did you know that Martin Van Buren modernized politics and in the process created the Democratic Party? Or how James K. Polk is responsible for expanding the United States from the Atlantic to the Pacific. I review their presidencies and those of Tyler, Hayes, and Pierce. I try to make my classes both informative and fun. My presentations feature images and clips from popular movies, for example. I might even give an optional quiz to reinforce learning. To sweeten the deal, I offer valuable prizes. I've been teaching OSHA courses for several years and find the experience extremely rewarding. I hope you'll consider taking my course, 5 Obscure Presidents and Why They Matter. See you in class.